Look, Ma, no cans. I love green bean casserole. It's a dish I look forward to every year at the holidays. My sister always makes it, but it does rely heavily on all the canned goods and processed foods from the center aisles of the grocery store. So I was thinking, could I make a version that's a little bit fresher, up-leveled and elevated, with fresh green beans, fresh mushrooms, a soup from scratch? So here's my version. Half a cup of panko breadcrumbs. Panko are crispier than regular breadcrumbs, so they're really the way to go here. We'll add about a tablespoon of olive oil to a sauté pan and get our panko in to start toasting up. This crunchy onion panko topping is good on green bean casserole. It's also good on steak, roasted vegetables like cauliflower, or a salad, you name it. Make sure the olive oil coats the panko breadcrumbs so they toast evenly. While the panko's toasting up, we're just gonna slice a couple shallots, nice and thin, even rings. You want about a cup of sliced shallots. Whew, the shallots are strong. Our panko's getting really nice and deeply golden. That's what we want. Keep it moving around the pan at this point. Okay, I think our panko is nice and brown. We're gonna get that off of the heat into a little bowl so it doesn't get any darker. Just let that hang out. Make sure to get most of the crumbs out of your skillet. If you want, give it a little wipe. Now another tablespoon of fresh oil, and we'll get our shallots in. Gonna switch over to a little bit of a fork utensil to break up some of the rings. I cooked our panko and our shallots on a medium to lower heat to make sure I don't let the heat get away from me. I want nice browning, but I don't want anything to burn. Oh yeah, we've got some nice browning. We've kept our shallots moving in the pan at this point, low and slow heat. This takes about 10 minutes for them to get about this deeply colored. Yeah, I think these are great. I'm gonna get all of these shallots into our panko. We're gonna give them a toss through while they're still warm. And now two more things. Just a quarter teaspoon of salt and an interesting ingredient, cream of tartar. A quarter teaspoon of cream of tartar. Adding this cream of tartar, this tartaric acid, gives it that little rounded edge of acid that this crunchy topping really needs. I just threw our crunchy onion topping back in the warm sauté pan so it didn't build up any moisture as it cools off, and we'll use it just a little bit later. Let's make some homemade cream of mushroom soup. Nice stems. I don't discard the stems. I trim them and cut them into a 1/4-inch dice. I think they add a nice texture here. And then the rest of the mushrooms I just slice into 1/4-inch slices. I like the difference in texture. Okay, let's get 2 tablespoons of butter in our pot on about a medium-high heat, along with 1 minced shallot, about a 1/4-inch dice. Okay, our shallots have had a head start. They're nice and translucent. Not much color on them yet, and that's just fine. I'm gonna add a teaspoon of garlic, really 1 garlic clove, finely minced. That garlic, instant hit, delicious, but just a little bit. I'm also gonna add our mushrooms, both the diced mushrooms as well as our slices. A little bit of salt at this point, some pepper. You could also add some fresh thyme here if you like. And what we're waiting for is the mushrooms to release their liquid, get a little bit soft. You're not really looking for a lot of browning. Meanwhile, while our mushrooms are going, I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of all-purpose flour to a little bowl here. 4 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, along with 2 tablespoons more of butter. And we're gonna give that a mash through. I actually don't mind getting in here with my fingers. Almost like making pastry. Just want to incorporate the butter and flour. It makes a nice thickener and still avoids having any lumps. Still a little bit of the mushroom liquid in there, and we're going to add in our buttery flour. It's going to look like you ruined it at this point, but you haven't. And we're just going to cook out that butter and flour for a minute or so. In the meantime, I also have 2 cups of milk in the microwave, just warming up slightly, just till it's just warm, not scalded. Just let the butter flour mixture cook out. And now we're adding 2 cups of warm milk to make a condensed or thick cream of mushroom soup for something like green bean casserole. Go ahead and bring the heat up to get it to a bit of a boil and bring it down to a simmer so it allows the flour to thicken our mixture. After it comes to a boil and starts to thicken, you can add up to 2 more cups of milk if you want a full soup, but we're leaving it condensed today. Okay, we've come up to a simmer. A couple of other items to put in. 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. Gives it a nice umami, salty back hit. Also changes the color to a nice, richer color. Make sure to scrape off all of that thickening flour that might have stuck to the bottom of the pot earlier. We have a beautifully rich, condensed mushroom soup. Great for a sauce. But one more special ingredient, just to take it a notch higher, a tablespoon of cognac brandy. Optional, but I think it really elevates it. Oh, that smells so good. It's rich and velvety. I have to resist not eating all of that. Yum! We'll let this hang out on warm, and we'll make our green beans. So I'm gonna cook a pound of green beans and show you the way that you keep that brighter, more emerald green than going army green. It's a tip I just learned from America's Test Kitchen's El Simone. I'll link to that video in the description below. So to 2 quarts of boiling water, I'm putting an entire 1/4 cup of salt, along with our green beans. And we're gonna cook these for 5 to 7 minutes. I tend to like 6 minutes. By cooking our beans in such highly salted water, it allows them to cook more quickly by weakening the pectin without turning army green. Oh, if you're using Morton's kosher salt or table salt, a 1/4 cup is good. If you're using Diamond Crystal kosher salt, you need 1/2 cup. I'm being supervised. Hello, Miss Thing. How you doing today? Just supervising. When time is up, we are going to drain our beans and give them a rinse in cold water, but not to cool them off, just more of a soft shock to stop the cooking process. But they are quite bright, much more emerald green than army green, and yet they're really tender. I love it. I just take a couple clean paper towels and give them a little bit of a toss through to soak up any extra water that's clinging to the beans. They're well seasoned, but they're not salty. I love our green beans. The color is really nice, but yet they're still, they're tender the way that we like them in my family, but they retain that color, which I just love. Look, Ma, no cans. Ha! So final assembly for our green bean casserole up-leveled version. Our mushroom soup, acting like a sauce, is still nice and hot. Just spooning it all over top. I love those big chunks of mushroom. Yummo. That looks delicious in itself. Our crunchy onion and panko topping is still crunchy. So we'll spoon that generously over top as well. Oh yeah. Oh, so good. Amazing. Wow, this is such a showstopper. We totally avoided the canned food section of the grocery store using fresh green beans, fresh mushrooms, lots of shallots. We've certainly elevated the look and the flavor. I cannot wait to dig in. Oh, yeah. Make sure I get all of our components. Nice big bite. Oh, that crunch. Everything is so well seasoned. I like the difference in the textures, that crunchy topping, our perfectly cooked beans, that nice, luxurious, creamy mushroom sauce. Wow, that is so good. If you're looking to take your green bean casserole to the next level, you gotta try this. And here's some things I came up with. That sounds terrible. And our cup of breadcrumbs toasting in a dry saute, not a dry saute pan. The depth of the mushrooms and the, it's 230. They're tender the way that we like them in my, How you doing?